Hey guys, Matt Lane here, and welcome back to another video. And today, as you can see in front of me, and as you can see by the title, we're going to take a look at our team, our start to the season, and what we need moving forward. I think it's a relatively good idea to have a look at our season rather than looking at just our performances and how we've played, to also look at context, as in where we were this time last season or this time in other seasons. And we're going to do that today. We find ourselves in eighth. Obviously, Ipswich have that game against Blackburn in hand, which you'd feel they probably will win. They'll go on to win that again. I feel like Blackburn are really hard done by considering how far at the bottom they are. But we're not here to talk about Blackburn or Ipswich, we're here to talk about Millwall. And off the back of by far our best performance this season and our most complete performance up and down from front to back, including the subs that came on who come on to do a job, and they thoroughly did that job. I mean, I'm sure West Brom were a little lacklustre at the same time. Some cynical folk will probably point out that West Brom were bad rather than we were good, but I don't think that's the case at all. We are 2 days on from that result, and I've had a chance to reflect and have a look. And honestly, fantastic from start to finish. That I'm surprised that when I saw this, I couldn't believe it. I did not believe that they had 10 shots. The one shot on target I do remember, which was this shot, that I'm pretty sure took a nick off of one or two defenders before going to Bender. And again, I think I said it in my post-match reaction. Both Cromer and Cooper would have had time to turn, run towards the ball, take a touch, and could have just run it at it and cleared it. It was that weak of a shot. But I thought this was a fantastic performance from start to finish. Not once did I think West Brom really threatened us. And if we play like that every week, I don't see why we can't be in and around the top six. Wrong one, here we go. In and around the top six. The only team I've been thoroughly impressed with so far this season are Coventry. Middlesbrough, you feel like they're not the same team that they were last season in terms of quality. And I feel like, I mean, I can't really speak on their manager, but you do kind of feel like they had a better manager last year. And they missed out. Same with Leicester, just haven't clicked yet. Preston and Stoke, after an abysmal performance last season, I feel like Preston will be the more safe of the two teams. Same with QPR. QPR have brought in, where is he? Kone, a little, maybe somewhat Poku, and I've been following Karamaka Dembele since he was at Celtic. I really like him, but you're looking at pretty much Richard Kone, and there you are who we play next. But I feel like a lot of these teams are going to fall off. And if we can put together a run, I feel like this is the worst quality championship has been since we were relegated in 2015. Um, you see teams like Swansea and Charlton and Portsmouth, you feel like they'll be safe. But like teams around the bottom are being found out. And they're teams that, like Norwich, I can't really speak on Birmingham or Wrexham, but Southampton as well, who should be aiming for the top six, especially Norwich, with how long they got relegated 2021. They've been in this division now 3 years, I think, or 4 years, since their last relegation from the Prem, and you'd think they'd be able to build on that, but apparently not. And they do find themselves 19th. And I know we are talking about Mill, although this is now on QPR. I don't know why. There we go. But I need to touch on Femi Aziz. This was our last starting 11. He has been the missing link for this team for a while. The games that he's missed, like we can see it here. This is in last season, start of this season. Put in a 7.3 performance without contributing to a goal. And other than Mitchell, who was solid in that game, Doughty, Crumb and Negley will get an assist. Of all the players that didn't have a contribution in that game, he's got the same contribution. Yes, Langstaff played 10 minutes less. Played 70 minutes less. Or 80 minutes less. Than Aziz managed to. They're the same rating. And then you got, okay, the Middlesbrough game, and then the 4-0 commentary was a substitute coming back from injury. The Middlesbrough game was another one that I remember saying at the time where it wasn't a 3-0 game whatsoever, but a highest performing player that wasn't the naught level was Sturge. But like, we've always had good midfield performances. It's always the defence and our attack that are the problem this season for every single game that we've played. But Aziz has definitely been that player that we have needed and we've been missing for the whole of September. And now that he's back, hopefully he can put together a run of games without getting injured. Let me just fix that a little bit. There we go. I feel like I'm slightly... There we go, that's better. But then you're looking at players like Ballo, got himself a nice assist. Sturge with a good finish. But we're looking at the games that Ballo started. Came to us, his first game was against Charlton, he was given 10 minutes. Again, played against Palace, which was a really good all-round performance. Then played in a win and then in a draw. Didn't feature against Coventry. So when Ballo's played for Millwall, we haven't lost. So, again, obviously it's being facetious considering he's not put in amazing performances, although only a 10-minute cameo against Charlton. But he's solidly consistent. He's alright. He's not been bad. But got himself an assist and it was a good finish from Sturge. But we find ourselves after 9 games played on 14 points. And if we look at Alex Neil's points per game ratio, when he came in after Harris left, 3 games Livermore was in charge, a 1.6 point per game ratio, which 1.6 points per game, because I can't be asked to do maths, I'm just going to... You're looking at around 73, 74 points. Which if we look at the championship in recent years, 73, we'll go 73 on the lower side, enough for us to finish comfortably 5th, knocking on the door of Sunderland. 2023, nothing year for us. Level with Norwich, maybe would have just missed out considering their goal difference. But then we go back to 2022, where again we lost out on the final day. Was this the year that we bottled it to Blackburn? I think it was. But we'd have finished 5th, again above Coventry and Sunderland. 2021. Okay, yeah, we would have missed that to Luton. Back to 2020. Wouldn't have made it, but we'd have been there or thereabouts. We've always been there or thereabouts. We haven't had a bottom half finish since our first season in the champ, I want to say. Oh no, we finished 13th there. But I'm pretty sure that was ship getting steady because we were around the bottom for a while. But yeah, It's the year after we promoted. This is our first year in the championship. Then we finished 4 points above Rotherham. Massive wake up call needed, which is 18-19 is when Harris. No, season after that was when Harris left. Beginning of the 1920 season, and then Rowett got us all the way up to 8th. But let's compare it. 9 games in, we are 4 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses, 14 points. Looking here, I want to see 9th match day. The most points since the 2020-2021 season. And then before that, we're going back to the old first division in 03-04. So, Alex Neil's first full season, first pre-season. Yeah, the goal difference hasn't been there, neither has the performances. But looking at it statistically, our best start to a season since the 2020-2021 season, where we would ultimately... Didn't mean to do that, there we go. Where we would ultimately finish 11th with a poor tail end to the season. I'm pretty sure 2020-2021 season. Can I see this? Yeah. I don't want to look at that. I want to look at, like... I'd love to see, like, our form. Because I feel like this will be interesting. So after 9 games, after 3-0 loss to Huddersfield, we were on 15 points. And I'm pretty sure we had a decent start to our season. A lot of draws here. Birmingham. Oh, I lost at home to Derby, but then here lost away to Blackburn. Draw with QPR, lost to Middlesbrough. Then we beat Bristol City, ending like a 10-game winless run. Let me just double check that from the 9th game. 10 draw, 11 draw, 12 draw. So we actually were on an 11 game. It was the 8th game was the last time we won, but we're looking obviously from the 9th. Then we get to the 19th where we finally get another win, and we're down in 17th at this point. So a really, really poor run of form. Then a draw to Forest, a draw with Bournemouth, draw with Watford, lost to Coventry, lost to Forest, beat Huddersfield away, and we're 17th still. And we're just languishing around the bottom half of the table. 4-1 win against Sheffield Wednesday, win against Reading, and we've put win against Birmingham 3 games in a row. 5 games unbeaten after this Luton game. Then we lose to Barnsley, but we're already put ourselves up to 11th by that point. Win against Preston, then we lose to Blackburn, beat Derby, lose to QPR, beat Middlesbrough, then we'd beat Rotherham, beat Stoke, 3 wins in a row, then we'd lose to Swansea, draw with Brentford, 4-1 loss to Bournemouth. But we're 9th at this point, and we got Bristol City, Coventry, and Watford. Watford would end up finishing 2nd. And then a 6-1 loss on the final day to 17th placed Coventry. There's no real consistency here. We'd win a couple games, but a lot of draws. Where if we look at, I want to see the table. Where we'd end up finishing on 62 points. But we just couldn't find that consistency. I want a more complete table. Here we go. I want a more detailed table. 17 draws. There's no real consistency. Luton ended up the only other team in the top half having a negative goal difference somehow had a worse one than us. But with no real consistency, and then we go all the way forward to Alex Neil here, where if we go back to the 24-20, was it 24-25 he came in? Yeah, December 2024. Let's find what. I'm pretty sure he came in and his first game was against Oxford. I want to say. Oh wait, let me just click show because it's still showing the wrong one. There we go. This 26 match day 26 where we lose. No, this is the fourth. This is the first. We lose 1-0 to Oxford. Was that his first game in charge? Because it says December 2024. I guess we'll find out. Yeah, his first game was against Oxford. So if we're going from 25th? Match day 25. Let's just go from match day. I mean, I probably didn't even need to do that, but we've done it now, so fuck it. So we'll go from match day 25. Alex Neil comes in after Neil Harris had an okay start to the season. Not the best, but 6 wins, 6 draws, 6 wins, 7 draws, 7 losses. Gonna need something better. And after the miracle of 23-24, which Joe Edwards had us all the way down in like 22nd or 21st at one point, I think. But we move on. We lose to Oxford. We draw with Sheffield Wednesday. Lose to Hull. Draw with Cardiff. And we're winless in 4 games. But this Cardiff game was terrible. I'm pretty sure, yeah, we conceded in the 96th minute. 90s plus 7. Just didn't fucking defend it properly. But then after that Cardiff game, match day 29, a win against Luton, a win against QPR, draw with Preston. Then we lost 5-1 to rock bottom Plymouth. Draw with West Brom. Then beat Derby. Lose to Bristol City. Beat Watford. Lose to Leeds. Beat Stoke. There's that inconsistency is still there. Lose to Sunderland. Then beat Portsmouth. Then beat Sheffield United. Then beat Middlesbrough. Then a 4-1 loss to Blackburn in a crunch game after beating and going on to then beat Norwich, Swansea. Also, fun fact, West Brom is the first time since the 21st of April, this Norwich game, that Millwall scored more than 2 goals in a game. And then beat Swansea and then we're 1-0 up, chasing playoffs. Now just imagine we could find that consistency. And the start that we had to this season will go from, hang on, I need to make sure that we go 1 to 9. Lost 2 losses and a draw. So 1, 4, 5, 8, 9 points from 9 games. Which I will just show it here. If we look at click show, there we go. When it loads. So I think we had 9 points. and ended up missing out on the final day. 9 points, ended up missing out on the final day, where if we had to start, the extra 5 points would have took us up to 5th. And in my opinion, Leeds, Burnley, Sheffield United, Sunderland, Coventry, less so Coventry, but these 4 were miles above everyone. It was Sunderland dropped off around, I want to say February, March time. But these 3 just fucked off into the distance. So did Sunderland from the start, and Sunderland kind of fell off behind the top 3. But they were never in any real danger of being caught. Well, that extra 5 points puts us in 5th, and then we're looking at Burnley as a free hit. Rest players, get ready for the playoffs. In my opinion, if we go and we compare here 25-26, this I want 24-25. What I want is, where can I find, here we go, squad. But this is for 24-25. So this is last season's squad, where we've since got rid of Liam Roberts. And in my opinion, Roberts is not as good of a goalkeeper as Max Crocombe. So there's an upgrade already. Tanganga's gone. Fair enough. But Kramer's more than filled his position. Murray Wallace, gone. Sean Hutchinson, gone. Scanlon returned on his loan. May has just gone back out on loan. Ryan Wintle back. Saville and Honeyman. Players that just aren't good enough to start week in, week out. 32, 30, 34 and 32. Aging players. And then we've gone on to bring in, same with Duncan Watmore and Connolly, Tom Bradshaw. We've now replaced them with, maybe not Bradshaw, although Coburn did play well the other day, but we've got rid of, we've replaced Murray Wallace and Sean Hutchinson with Caleb Taylor and Alfie Doughty. Massive upgrades. Massimo Luongo for Saville. Mazusako for Honeyman. Even Will Smallbone to an extent could cover them both. Whilst keeping everyone bar Tanganga, we have massively improved our squad. Coburn we've made permanent. And players like Benicio Baker and Lovelace, Daniel Kelly less so, Kamal Grant not really had much of an impact on us this season. Jay Matthews too, brought in as youth for the future, that's not really, I don't think, done anything in our starting 11 so far this season. I don't think any of the players I just mentioned have even hit our starting 11, have hit the pitch for us, except Kamal Grant. I did mention him, but I know he has because he played in the Cup, and I thought he was really good. But bringing in players like Ballo, Negley, Bangor Williams making the step up now, Essay's gone. And even players like Daniel Kelly and Mazusako being players that we never thought they would be. Dan Kelly's, like, in the cameos he's made this season has looked decent. And Zach Sturge coming and making his move permanent and then being better than what we had seen from him last year. Kramer getting better with every fucking game. We have an infinitely better squad than last season. And when everyone's fully firing, our strongest starting 11, or this whole squad, is similar, but not the same. But this squad, in terms of on a match day, would batter our squad from last season week in, week out. They'd have the odd week where they don't perform well, like we've seen so far this season. But it's night and day the difference between the two squads. Nisbet as well getting him fucked off. We've got rid of the dead wood whilst improving in most positions. And we're now 5 points better off than we were last season. Yes, we didn't have Alex Neil in charge last season. We had Neil Harris. Different manager, different playing style, picking a different squad every week. But if we're finished 8th here, we're already 5 points better off than last season. And like we saw with Alex Neil, if I can go back, is this 24-25? Yeah. I don't want to go that far, but like 24 was it? December 1st. It's the first game he loses. Then it's a draw. Then it's another loss. Then it's a draw. 4 games without a win. Then we beat Luton away. Then we can't beat QPR. Then we draw against Preston. The Plymouth result is just forget about it. We move on. Draw against West Brom. A win against Derby. A loss against Bristol City, who ended up finishing in the playoffs. But then we go beat Watford. Then we lose to Leeds, who won the fucking league. Then we go beat Stoke. Then we lose to Sunderland, who were part of that top 4 I mentioned earlier, that just fucked off into the distance. Then we beat Portsmouth. Sheffield United, a win away. A win at home against Middlesbrough, 2 of our playoff chasing / promotion chasing rivals. Then a loss against Blackburn, which I still hate them to this day. Then Norwich. We're sort of putting together that kind of consistency. Yeah, we're losing games in amongst, but we lose like the context of who we're losing to. Bristol City and potential banana skins like Derby. Historically, when you think back to that, when we bottled it to the final day against Blackburn 22-23 season, losses against Wigan and Huddersfield in that little run in the last 10 games of the season. But we're not experiencing that. The teams we're losing to, okay, Plymouth. Every team's going to have a bad result at one point. But then we're losing to the league winners, beating the team that go up second. But then Portsmouth, who are languishing around the bottom. And we're beating like the banana skins. Blackburn are just Blackburn. And Bristol City and Leeds and Sunderland are 3 of the top 6. Sometimes it can't be helped. We had one bad performance against Plymouth. Where was it? Here. But then we're going to Derby and winning. When that's a game where you might look at it and think, that is a game I could see us drawing or potentially even losing. I think we are very, 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 very much still in with a very, very good chance of the top 6. I see teams like Preston, Stoke and QPR falling away, and West Brom. I didn't mean to click on QPR, fuck off. But I see all of these teams, not Coventry, but more like these teams, maybe less so Leicester, maybe they'll now kick on. But I see teams falling away at some point. And even if they don't, I feel like Stoke, QPR, Preston, Stoke, QPR, West Brom will definitely... They're not going to be able to keep this up for a whole season. we've been unlucky with injuries, and although our performances haven't been the best, like if we look at our overall rating, does it show it? I don't know, but you can see our top scorers and assists and top rated players. Stats maybe. Yeah, our average rating. We're mid-table for average rating so far this season, behind the likes of Watford, or joint with Watford. Worse than West Brom, Swansea, Wrexham, Stoke, Preston. Teams have had a good start to the season. That doesn't mean that they could do it for the whole season. And I hope that after this international break, okay, I 4-0 lost to Coventry, which is a wake-up call, but we were unbeaten in 4 before that. Swansea, Watford, Palace and Charlton. We need to find some consistency at home, which obviously with Stoke and Leicester rounding out the end of October, in the Tuesday, Saturday, in the last week of October. If you asked me before the West Brom game, after the Coventry performance specifically, I would have said a loss, 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 draw, loss, loss, loss. But obviously, not the happiest. But I feel like a result against QPR, and then we can kick on and beat Stoke, beat Leicester, beat Oxford, draw with Birmingham, beat Preston, draw with Portsmouth. And then we're looking at what? 3, 6, 7, 10, 11, 14, 15 points from 7 games, which you would take. And then we go on to Sheffield Wednesday and Southampton, 2 winnable games. Bristol City we might lose, and I promise you that we lose this Oxford game, by the way. Well, there's always a banana skin somewhere for us. But we'll probably lose to Sheffield Wednesday, then beat Southampton, Bristol City, Derby, Hull, Blackburn, beat Ipswich, Bristol City again, beat Southampton, beat Swansea, then lose to Watford, beat Coventry, then somehow lose to Charlton, and then eventually end up like 5th in the table and go up via the playoffs. Promotion is a real. It doesn't seem like it, I know. Promotion is a possibility for us. A lot of people won't see it. A lot of people are probably going to scoff at me or laugh at me and think that I'm a fucking moron. But you can't say it's not when this is our best performance, our best start to a season since 2020-21. The season that we then fell off a cliff at the end of the season. I just think we need to calm it down. We need to build a bit of consistency. The odd loss here and there, but we bounce back and we can move on. Because I still think that it's a real possibility. Promotion is a real possibility, and I think the people that are quick to point fingers at the coach and staff or individual players here need to just chill the fuck out. We're not even in double figures for games this season, and we've won more than we've lost, which is a good sign. Had we been on 3-3-3 like Watford, Swansea, Charlton, Portsmouth, and Hull and Birmingham are, it's an average start to the season. We're slightly better than average and much better than what we have been in the last 3 or 4 years in terms of starts to a season, and I feel like we're only going to get better because we have these 14 points, which bar the West Brom game, we've played shit. Okay, Middlesbrough and Wrexham we weren't bad, we just couldn't put the ball in the net, and then we're punished, and then we were bad. The moment we go 1-0 down, we're bad. But we just need to find that consistency, get a run together, and we could aim for fucking autos. Let's be real. let's be honest, we're not going to have autos. I feel like Coventry are now just going to fuck off into the distance. Maybe Middlesbrough don't fall off and Leicester now put together a run and it's them three for the rest of the season, or even a surprise package like Preston Stoke or even QPR never fall off and they kind of are the Sunderland of last season or the season before last season, then I just feel, look, I just feel like top six, easy, not easy, but it's definitely something we should be aiming for, and is an easy target, in my opinion. I think genuinely it is a travesty if we don't make playoffs, but I feel like if we don't, it will be another one where we point fingers to the Charlton game, the Wrexham game, the Middlesbrough game. But there's not been a single game where we've dropped points yet. And it'll be those that we probably point the fingers to if we do end up dropping points at any point this season from winning positions, of course, whether that be we draw the game or lose the game. But every time we've taken the lead, we've won the game. It's very early to say anything yet. And I will not be revisiting my championship table until January. Then but I'll probably be the end of January, maybe beginning of February, and then we'll come back to it at the end of the season. I won't be amending it, by the way. That table will stay locked in. We'll come back and do like a 10-minute video where we're like, how bad was my prediction, how good it was. Maybe do like a point system, and then compare it to the end of the season, see what happened. I don't know. But I just wanted to go through, now that we're into the second um, international break. I don't think there's another one until March, I believe. I'm just going to quickly have a look at all of our fixtures. November, December, January, consistent in January, consistent in February. And yeah, 10th, 14th. Yeah, after March, 3rd of April. So it's after the Ipswich game, there'll be another one. But we could be looking at this in the top six already, thinking, come on. So that'll be it for me. Yeah, a win puts us third. Obviously, if results go our way, and that's obviously it's just another game in hand over us. But hopefully, this international break is a chance for us to relax, calm down, get our heads screwed on, and try and push on from this. A really good win against West Brom with a really good performance. We got QPR away, which, again, you'd be happy with the draw, especially with how well they've started, and it's away from home. Our away form has been good this season, to be fair. So, with that context, you might think, like, a win. But let's not be facetious. Let's keep a level head. Let's not let our emotions get the better of us. Stay realistic, is the word I'm looking for. A draw against them, but a win against Stoke. And then I think the Leicester game could go either way. I've not been overtly impressed with them so far this season, but again, after their last two games, it depends on how they're playing after. Obviously, they won't have these two, they'll have their own opponents, but I'm talking the two games before this one. But that's it from me. Just wanted to go over my thoughts on our start. I feel like we've started really well considering our performances have been poor. And all we've got to do is just up the performance. And we'll make top six. But thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. If you want to see me talk about anything else, let me know in the comments below. Or let me know your own thoughts and your own opinions based on our start this season. Whether you are a Millwall fan or you're a fan of any other club. And you know what? Fuck it. If you are a fan of another club, let me know of your team's start to the season. If you're a Cov fan, please don't say nothing. There's not really much you can say. You will piss this league. But yeah, let me know how your club are doing and how you feel your start is to the season relative to the size of your club or the squad that you have. And I'll see you for my next video.